NHL Nightly with your host, the sports, a.k.a. Peter Lebowski, a.k.a. Jeremiah Maxwell. And with him, as always, maybe Pearlo, Wisdom, and Rico in Barry.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, man.
How's it going?
Good, buddy.
Sorry about the Thursday. We had a moose invasion, and my dogs were just not going to settle down, and I just needed to be able to take care of them. So I apologize to everybody that happened. Just watched the Beanpot tournament. Northeastern wins in overtime with 28 seconds left to go. What a game. They have dominated this. And Boston University is a good team. They just beat Boston College. Very good team. Occupancy, welcome in, man. How's it going? I was just telling Rico we canceled Thursday's show because I had a little moose invasion. I had to calm my dogs down. We had a moose come and eat off our tree here, and he was a little guy, but he was my dogs just didn't like it. And I can't really do anything because it's about the size of a horse. I can shoot marbles at him, but it's the winter time. I don't really mess with them because they're really hungry and tired and stuff. So it's like I just let them eat off the tree. So anyway, I was just telling Rico here, I was watching of course I watched NHL tonight, but I was watching the Beanpot tournament, and Boston University just lost in overtime with 28 seconds left to go. To Northeastern Huskies, man. What a great game, too. And every time, and by the way, Northeastern didn't lead at all in this game. The only time they've led was for the second they scored in overtime. So really insane, man.
What happened? That weren't they let up a late goal, or?
No, I mean it was 3-3 heading into overtime, so in college hockey, they only, especially these tournaments, they only can do a 5-minute overtime, and then they followed up with a shootout. So if it had not scored, it would have went to a shootout. But I'm telling you, man, this Rishkovian kid that's number 29, the captain of Northeastern, I do not believe he's been drafted. This kid is so good two-way. If you need a good two-way center that can play in the NHL, sign this kid. I mean, also I saw today on the news that it looks like they're not going to let CHL players after they're done playing in the juniors go play in the NCAA, which is absolute fucking horseshit. When we can look out for these kids, we don't. It just gives them another avenue if they're not going to play pro hockey. Let them go to college. Maybe they get a degree and do something good with it. I don't know. I don't know where you guys are on that one, but
that's a university thing, because if you play junior, you have free education in Canada for however many years you play, but in junior, so it's protecting their universities. That's why.
Right, but the U.S. kids, do they go to college in Canada? Probably not, right?
No, of course not.
There's a lot of U.S. kids that play in the CHL. So what, they just got back to the States and they're F. Now they can go to college, but they can't play hockey for their college. Why not? They're going to be 19 years old at the oldest.
But you can go to your U.S. college if you want, but you're not going to get it for free. If you play junior hockey.
So, Pearlo, you cannot play here, I'll drop you out, occupancy. You cannot play hockey.
No, what they're saying is they're not going to let you go to U.S. hockey if you go to juniors. That's what they're saying, right? Like they're not going to give it to you for free. Am I wrong here?
No, you're misinterpreting. So because I don't know how. Okay, so. Oh, you're good, occupancy. You're fine, man. I'll put you back right in. You're fine. Anytime you drop out, I just take you off this screen just in case. If there's something going on, no worries. Sometimes you got to go. No. So if you play in the CHL, you're considered a pro for whatever reason. So you're not eligible to play college hockey at all. They were trying to get that changed, but the fucking dickbags that run college hockey here don't want to do it. It would just give those kids that leave CHL and don't go into the AHL, ECHL, NHL, play some foreign league, that don't go play professionally somewhere else, an avenue to get. I understand what you're saying. They can get a call. That's awesome.
No, I misunderstood what you were saying.
Yeah, you're okay. Stupid. You're okay. I knew you didn't. You weren't tracking. I didn't explain it enough. Gunnar Fontaine scored that overtime game winner for the Northeastern Huskies in the Beanpot Championship. Pretty great game, man. Can't wait to hear Colby Cohen's thoughts. BU grad. I know all the BU people are thumbed out. Real quick. Alex Pietrangelo, 1000th game. What a stud. Absolute incredible defenseman. 2-time Stanley Cup champ, Olympic gold medalist. They're giving him his just due right now. That's incredible. Earlier nights tonight, I saw the Devils, Montreal, and there's a third team, has not shut anybody out this year. Dawes had a really good game tonight. They ended up winning 3-1 to the Kraken. I don't know if you guys watched any of that. I watched most of that game. Coyotes were up 3, kept getting leads, ended up losing 5-3 to the Flyers. I don't know all these pundits, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee. I'm talking to you boys. The Flyers ain't falling off. I don't know what the F you're thinking.
They might be later, but they're not now. They're not now, for sure.
I still think they make moves to trade pieces because they know where they're at. Now, that being said, the Rangers shut out the Flames, the red-hot Flames, by the way. Nice game for Shesterkin. They finally needed one from him. And then we've got the Wild and Golden Knights coming up, and we'll talk about tomorrow coming up. I did want to say one thing before I forget, and then I want you guys to talk about this Morgan Rielly thing, and I will definitely get a video for it. Pearlo, you asked me a question a while ago. When was the latest a team could add a player and they play in the playoffs? And the answer is it's the trade deadline day. So March 8th. So if it's a college free agent, if it's somebody you want to play in the playoffs, you have to sign them by the trade deadline day. Otherwise, you can sign guys afterwards, but otherwise they won't be eligible for the playoff roster. So leave that as the rule. Now there might be some injury exceptions, like if you have injuries and you have that player in your system or whatever. But I do not believe if they're not, and that's just the trade deadline this year is March 8th. So. Yeah, I agree with you, Doug. Doug says the Vegas Golden Knights are going to show up tonight or get goofy against the Wild 5 days after this is their first game. Yep, I'm tracking, man. I get what you're saying. Okay, let me find. Let me find. The Morgan Rielly hit on Riley Greig, which I'll be honest with you guys, I want to show my ass a little bit on this one. I didn't realize it was that big a deal to shoot a puck in an empty net like that. But a lot of people I trust who played and are up there were like, no.
It's taboo. It's taboo.
There's
no doubt about that.
So you guys tell me what your thoughts are. I'm going to drop out real quick here. I'll come right back. I'll come back with the video. But start off, Rico, you're the Leafs fan. Just give us your thoughts. Were you pissed off? Just tell us. You just walk through the whole thing.
Hey, Pearlo. Hey, Occupancy. Good evening, fellas. Yeah, man. I mean, the first thing I thought of was in that barn in Ottawa, man. Like when I went and watched against Boston, there was a crap ton of Boston fans there too. So it was half littered with Leaf fans. So I think that was the first thought on the player, not really disrespecting like any of the Leafs or any of the players on the Leafs. I think he was just kind of trying to shut up the Toronto crowd that's been cheering on their team all game. So that kind of gets on Ottawa players' nerves, I think, too, every time the Leafs come in their barn and and try to take it over and stuff. So I don't think he was directing at that. And the kid's so young that he probably didn't think twice about, the repercussions of that. But the one thing you saw Rielly coming, and most of the time when you see somebody coming, you put your stick up a little bit or something just to protect your face a bit, and not just think that he's just coming up to just give you a couple words or something. But being a young player, he's probably a little bit naive in both those ways. But I mean, I think a couple games for Rielly, I can see 5 or 6. I mean, trying to prove a point against a guy like Morgan Rielly, one of the more likable guys with no record, no history or anything like that. I mean, I could see if it's, a cement head or somebody going to do that. But I mean, it looks bad. I didn't expect him to just cross-check him in the face, maybe give him a little shove against the boards, but I don't know. It was just a reaction by Rielly, and the player didn't know any better, and it is what it is. But at 5-6 games is going to seem like a lot, especially with that blue line with Brody and Liljegren maybe on your top pair, like Pearlo was mentioned. It's like, it's going to hurt the Leafs. I mean, but at the end of the day, it's nice that somebody stuck up for the Leafs as well and showed a little bit of toughness. But I mean, that it could have gotten away with maybe a little shove to the ribs or the chest or something, just knock him into the boards. I think it would have just created the same effect like this, But yeah, that's my kind of thought on it.
You gonna go occupancy, or you want me to go off?
If you got something on it, go for it.
I got tons on it. It was a pussy-ass move by a guy who didn't believe that anybody could take care of his team. Rielly doesn't even go there if he believed that the rest of his team could do something. It was a stupid, stupid play for him. Now, for sure, no doubt about it, you don't do that if you're Greig, unless you know that nobody's going to do anything. Like, that's the only reason why you do that. He was slamming that puck in that net, knowing that you're not going to do shit. You guys are a bunch of pussies. And you know what? Rielly proved it. Rielly proved that they are a bunch of pussies. That team is a bunch of pussies. They've been like that for like 3 years now. They have no pushback whatsoever, and that's the reason why they don't get past rounds or win a cup. And Rielly just went in there and slammed the puck in the net and said, "What are you going to do?" And this is Rielly. Greig went there and slammed the puck in the net and said, "What are you going to do?" And what does Rielly do? He makes a pussy move. It was a pussy move. Simple as that. If you got a team that can actually fight, you don't make that move. You don't do that, ever. Not a chance. That was a very telling thing that Rielly did. Rielly said, "I'm fed up. My team sucks. We have no pushback, so I'm going to do what I can do. And since I'm only, what is he, like 5'10", 100? I don't want to fight you, but I'm going to do something here because I have to do something here. I feel like I have to do something here, but I can't actually do what you're supposed to do, which would be to drop your stick, drop your gloves, and let's go." But he can't do it. And he knows nobody on his team is going to do it. Nobody on the team is going to do it. Rielly shouldn't even be on the ice. He's horrible, right? So, and no other person on that team is going to do anything. Bertuzzi hasn't did anything all year. There hasn't. Domi, they got Domi. What does Domi do? What has Domi done all year long? Nothing. And I said that to begin with. He wasn't going to do anything, and he hasn't done anything. You brought him for toughness. That's who you're going to do. The guy that just sits in the offensive zone and pisses people off and then kind of runs away. The team has no guts whatsoever. And that was a perfect example of why Toronto has no guts. If Rielly has to feel like he has to do that to do something, he knows that his team has no guts whatsoever. There is no balls on that team at all. You listen to Tortorella when they talk about Philadelphia. He says, we may not have our skill, we may not have everything, but we have balls. That was his quote. We have balls. Toronto has no balls whatsoever. And I will bet now, and I've actually put the bet in, Toronto will miss the playoffs this year. It was a terrible move by Rielly, but I understand why he did what he did, because he's fed up. He is fed up with this pussy ass team. And that is why he did it. And he shouldn't have done it, but he knows that there is nobody in that room that's going to do fuck all on that team. Nobody.
Making me think of the guy from 40-Year-Old Virgin. He's like, you pussy ass bitch.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good example, Beard. That is a really good example. They're a pussy team. They like to get their picture taken. They like to have all the freaking accolades, and they like to have everything, but they do nothing on the ice whatsoever. Matthews is an amazing player, and he can score goals like a son of a bitch, but the team is not a team. They are a pussy-ass team, and they're not making the playoffs this year. And even if they do, they're out in the first round, and I'll bet everything on that. So there you go. I said what I said.
Occupancy?
Yeah, I take a little bit of what Rico said and a little bit of what Pearlo said. And I got to agree with Pearlo in the sense where if this was the 90s New Jersey team, if this was Winnipeg with Bufflin, if this was, the other team had some of these real bruisers, these real heavy hitters that you didn't want to, you were truly, scared of. I don't think this guy does that. I don't think he does. So I got to agree with Pearlo that he looked at this team and saw the other side as I can do this kind of thing. Who's going to come after me? Ryan Reeves, maybe, and maybe that's it. So I do agree with Pearlo on that. And, but then we can get into a different conversation of is it the same as it was back then? Does it lead to NHL, top teams?
I don't think you have to go that far back.
No, and I'm
not the same thing.
And I'm not. I was just saying, just because you're a tough team and you do have some guys that you don't want to get hit by, doesn't mean you're going to be a good NHL team. That's a different conversation. But in terms of was this a big deal? When I take it to what's not a big deal, hitting a goalie when he's trying to cover the puck. Okay, what happens when someone comes in and tries to fish it out and the puck's covered? They get decked. They get decked right in the crease. Yeah. Someone comes in and hits him, puts him on his ass, and that's it.
Right.
So this, I think, is worse in a way than that, because it's kind of this unknown rule that people you just don't do it. And it's not really in the game either. It's not like you're fighting hard to get a shot in, a loose puck or something. This is kind of just we won and now we're gonna So do I think he deserved to get hit like that? Yeah, I mean I do. Should Rielly have got him in the chest and not the fucking face? Excuse me. Yeah, he should have just not hit him in the face. But at the end of the day, I think maybe Rielly should have had a little more control. He was pissed. I'm sure he just lost the game. It's a battle, a battle of the Canadian cities up there. And at the end of the day, I think, you shouldn't shoot the slap shots at the empty nets. But you also shouldn't cross-check a guy in the face and then leave your team for 5 games because of it. So,
okay, well, I'll continue a little bit and then I'll move on. The whole game, nobody did shit for Toronto. That whole game.
Well,
in fact,
you played really poorly.
You could go back 5 years. Rielly has watched this bullshit for years, and he just got fed up. And he knows he can't beat anybody up. He's just a little ass motherfucker. That's it. So he went and gave a cross check to the guy's face. He knows it's going to be. You know what Rielly's doing here? He is sending a message not to Ottawa. He's sending a message to his own team that this is what I got to do because you guys ain't doing shit. That's what he did. I know Rielly can't drop the gloves and the stick and go beat that guy up. He's going to get his ass kicked. He's not even supposed to do that. But nobody's doing shit on that team in Toronto and hasn't been for 5 years. And Rielly just got fed up and said, okay, fine, I'm going to cross-check this guy in the face. I'm going to take my 5 games. And management can look at this and go, are you going to do anything here? Are you going to actually bring in some people? Are you actually going to bring in an attitude here that people actually care? I love what Rielly did in a way. It's a horrible thing. But you know what? Rielly gave up the season when he did what he did. Because you know why? He knows that team ain't going nowhere. And he's known it for a long time. That move by Rielly was Rielly telling management, you guys are a piece of shit. I'm serious. You don't do that otherwise. He finally got fed up and said, I'm going to do something here and I shouldn't be doing it because I know I'm going to get my ass kicked if I actually do what I'm supposed to do, which is drop the stick in the gloves and go after this guy. Greig would ragdoll him if he did that. So he did what nobody was willing to do. And actually, I'm going to give Sheldon Keefe a little bit of credit here because he said, finally somebody did something. And he's been telling management, somebody's got to do something this whole time. You want to fire me? I don't give a shit. But your pussy ass freaking organization, stop this bullshit. Let's play some hockey.
Well,
now, that's what I see with what, and I bet you Kipper said the same thing. I don't know if he did, but I bet you that's exactly what he said.
Well, that's the second thing that Rielly did that nobody else did on that team. One was do that. The second one was take fucking less money to play there too. So I think deep down that fucking burns him inside as well too. Like Rielly was the one that took.
He looked really good on Vancouver's blue line, wouldn't he? You think he might have wanted to go back home and just?
So your answer to bring some toughness in this room is to get a pussy ass Bertuzzi who doesn't do shit, and Domi who's just a little freaking weasel that kind of rubs people in the face and runs the other way. Like, I feel for Rielly. I swear to God, I do.
What about Reeves though? Like they got Reeves. Like, I mean, the heavyweight champion of the world is a free agent. They bring him in. You think, God, they got the toughness they need on that fourth line. And if anybody needs to go, I was just gonna say, I feel like Toronto hasn't had a guy like that since like Wade Belak. Like, that's how far back.
Yeah.
Like,
but the problem is you can't play.
I don't blame Tree Living. I think he did a good job. I think if Klingberg is 100%, which he wasn't, he could have helped their power play and spelled Rielly from having to play on it, honestly, because he's so good everywhere else. And you know, Bertuzzi has been an absolute bust. You're not wrong there. I disagree on Domi. I think Domi has actually played well. They just haven't really given him much ice. You got to get ice time to do something. I mean, I can't believe they haven't tried him at 1 or 2, honestly, at times. Same with Bertuzzi. Like, put that dude on the top power play. Get him going. Right now, you're using him like a marginal third liner, and he's playing like one. But just say, hey, we know you're capable of more. I think a lot of this has to do with the coaching, and I know you're on it. I mean, I know Keith's like, oh, it's appropriate. Okay, fine. Again, guys, I didn't realize it was a big deal, a slap shot, a fucking empty net. I mean, I thought your goal was to get it in. I've seen plenty of empty netters get blocked. Guy thinks he's got the game and doesn't shoot it as quick. So I don't know. I also agree with what Rico was saying. I think that building was 75% Leaf fans, and the Ottawa Senators were sick of it, and they beat the Leafs' ass again, which they. I mean, I would love to see what their record is against the core four. I guarantee the Leafs have lost they're
won
terrible.
7 of the last 10.
Yeah. It's not.
Nobody
plays down to the competition like fucking the Leafs. Their record against losing record teams is absolutely abysmal. I just think and I get it. And I love So I'll say my thing and we can move on, guys. I just was going to say, I love the being protective of your team. I know what Rielly was trying to do. I just think the execution wasn't, I think if he just drops the gloves with him, even if the kid doesn't agree. Now, the more I learn about this Greig kid, I love him because he sounds like a little piece of shit, like ball of hate, like Brad Marchand guy. So I'm like, oh, I like this kid. I didn't know much about him. I haven't watched as much Ottawa this year as I did last year because they were kind of in it. But Ottawa also is kind of getting themselves back in it. Now, look, my boy Ate Hockey was like the 28th team of the league. He said, oh, Tom Wilson would have, knocked the dude's teeth out. And I was like, maybe. Tom Wilson's playing a lot smarter. I love it for the rivalry. I got to tell you, this had me thinking, we need to go back to 6. You play your division 6 times. If you're in the Atlantic, the Leafs and the fucking Senators play each other 6 times. The Caps and the Pens play each other 6 times in the Metro. The Rangers and the Caps. I just want to go back to that format. I think it's fucking made all these. Oh, you got to play everybody twice. Okay, no. How about you got to play everybody 1 time? Especially the Western teams don't need to play the Eastern teams. It saves money, and it's better for the game. It's disappointing to me that we're fucking the 12th of February, and we're not going to see the Leafs and Sens play again. We got 2 fucking months left in the season. That's a fucking joke. But, I said Rielly would get a game. I now believe he will get 5.
I said 4. He's going to get 5 at least now.
Yeah, I think he'll get 5. They gave Perron 6. I think it wasn't a hockey play, and but I didn't hate it. I think Morgan Rielly should have been the captain from the jump. I think Viveros would agree with me on that one too. Tim said he called 5 Saturday night. So when I first was watching it, I was laughing. I thought it was hilarious. I just thought the whole thing. I honestly didn't even think what Greig. To me, barely noticed him. I just thought he was emphatically making sure it got in there. Or there was a guy not far behind him. I think he just. At first, I thought that, but everybody's like, "No, this guy's a piece of shit. Whatever, you don't do that." I have never seen anything like that ever at the end of a game, ever. I mean, you see scrums and shit. I mean, it sounds like this little piece of shit, and I like him more.
If you played, you don't do what Greig did. You don't do it. It's just like you don't. It's basically taking your 2. It's basically like taking your 2 middle fingers. Like, say he scored the goal and then went to the bench and went like that. What would you think? That's exactly what.
What are your hands doing? We can't see because it's too blurry. Sorry.
2 middle fingers.
You were crystal clean when you first came in, buddy. I don't know what happened. I don't know. Is that a 2? Are you holding up 2 fingers, 3? I'm not sure.
But basically, if he would have skated by the bench for Toronto and put his 2 middle fingers up slowly and just went,
that would have been fucking cooler, to be honest with you. I would have liked
that's it. But that's exactly what he did. He did
it to the crowd. I think he did it more to the Leaf crowd.
Yeah, I don't think he was trying to show up the Leafs at all. I think he was more pissed that there were 75% Leaf fans in their home building. Yeah. They just dolly-lopped him again, and he's like, "Fuck you."
Yeah.
That's like, shut up and take the bus back to your hotel and get the fuck out of town.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Half of them live in town. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
You know.
So he can't do it.
Nobody travels like Leaf.
He can't. He can't do it to the crowd, but he can do it, and then that's exactly what he's doing. So yeah, I mean,
but I agree with everything. Pearlo, we should let you go last because we should have finished on your rant because your rant was epic. I so appreciate it. I felt stupid.
Yeah, but occupancy is gonna take the emotion out of it, and he's going to actually look at a practical avenue. So like that, was he last occupancy? Sorry about that if I stepped on you then, but
no, you're good.
Yeah,
you're good.
Yeah, no, he did go last, but I mean, I kind of went last. So he went third. I should have had you go last because yours was good.
But
I should have said nothing because my opinion doesn't matter
occupancy, occupancy will look at it at a more practical level than me and probably say stuff that I got a little emotional. But what do you think about it, buddy?
No, I mean, I agree with kind of both sides here. I mean, you know, I think if at the end of the day, if there was a bruiser on Toronto, or if he was scared of some line out there, he would not have done that. But I think Rico's right. He says, you know, they won a big game. Get out, you know, get out of our house. We just beat you Saturday night. And here's like the exclamation point. You know, it's like, you know, other sports, you see like a slam dunk at the end of the game or something like a you know, something like that. And I think the difference though between like hockey and other sports is like the celebrations and the taunting. I feel like whereas like in the NFL, these guys do all these dances and they pull out a yellow flag and then kind of go on their way. Whereas like hockey is more of a like score your goal, you know, tap the bench and then go sit down and get ready for the next shift.
They got rid of that. They got rid of that occupancy. You could celebrate now in the NFL. They don't call flags for that shit anymore. You just can't tackle a quarterback at all.
But you know what I mean? I think like in hockey, they take a little. They're a little more. They don't take as kindly, I think, to the taunting. Whereas like they'll cross check, they'll get right in your face, they'll get violent when you taunt and you selly. Whereas like in the NFL, you could taunt and selly and like yeah, sometimes they get back at you, but the physical stuff doesn't happen as much. Whereas like
I've never seen anybody get back at anybody for celebrating ever in the NFL except for one time.
Right.
And you know what it is. You know what it is.
Which one?
Where the guy hit the guy for celebrating.
Oh, when what's his name was at the Dallas Cowboys there. Basically, their logo in the front.
Right.
Terrell Owens, when he was with the San Francisco 49ers, ironically, ran out in the middle of the star, and Dexter Coakley and he did it twice. By the way, people forget how good a receiver Terrell Owens was. He's in the Hall of Fame. Dexter Coakley, I mean, he straight up popped him. You'd get suspended a season if you did that shit now. Yeah. Nobody did shit. I don't even think Coakley was fined. And if he was, you know Jerry Jones paid that fine for him. No, don't you worry, Dexter, we got you right here. I'll write you a check for 40 grand and you're all good. It's like, yeah, they have the taunting, Tim, and they call it from time to time. It's worse in college. The celebration room, because to me, I don't know that was taunting. I don't know. I'd have a tough time calling what Greig did taunting, but that's how definitely Morgan Rielly felt it was. So, I mean, the reaction, but to me, it was more of a like, you know, I'll show up the crowd a little bit here because I don't know, man. It's got to be tough being a Buffalo Sabre and Ottawa Senator right now. And when you play the Toronto Maple Leafs, it's a known fact that, like, those buildings are full. Pittsburgh.
Yeah. And it's Beard, to your point. I mean, I forget it was either last year or 2 years ago when Buffalo played Toronto in the outdoor game. And, like, I mean, that was their Stanley Cup. I mean, Buffalo is like, you know, a bottom team and they're playing up to Toronto, in a big state, you know, that was the Senators. This is like the game they're probably circled on their calendar.
Yep. I can't hear you. You're muted, Beard, or I'm muted. What? I can't hear anything.
Oh, hey, I'm bringing Tim York on. Tim, there's a link in the chat. Just click that. Tim's a Leafs fan. I was wanting to know your opinion, Tim, so I'm glad you wanted to come on. I'll bop out here and I'll just produce from the backside. You guys go at it here. I'm so amazed.
You can only, you know what? You bring up a really good point, though, Beard. Canada is way different. Like, Canada's way different. We don't like to. You bring up a good point. I don't even think you're probably right. It's not shouldn't be as bad as we make it out to be. That a guy slap shots the freaking empty net. It probably shouldn't be as bad as that. We shouldn't be making it up to be that bad of a thing. You know, like really, it's just a celebration at the end, and you're kind of whatever. Yeah, it's probably not really the best look for us. That's just a Canadian thing. We don't try to show each other up at the end. That's just the way it was in hockey for a long time. You know, you act like a gentleman. You won the game and stuff like that. And actually, Beard might be right. We should get rid of that bullshit. Like, we should have more celebration. Like, everybody gets Kuznetsov gets mad at him because he does a little eagle thing or whatever. You know, like maybe we need to add that in a little bit more, and everybody shouldn't get so.
It's called the eagle.
Somebody celebrates because they won a game, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think you might have a point here, Beard. Really, like, we probably shouldn't get so butthurt about this shit. I never thought about it, but you're probably right.
But the thing is, Pearlo, it wasn't a celebration. It was an insult. What Greig did was an insult, plain and simple.
Yeah, but you could take that if you do a little dance at the end when they score a touchdown and everybody goes in there and does it. That could be an insult if you look at it that way. Like,
that's the only way it's the only way to look at it, though. Like, I don't care. You blast the puck into the net on a slap shot that was harder than most of the guys throw in the All-Star game. That's an insult. If you want to put it in the top shelf and have confetti rain down, okay, there's your celebration. That was not a celebration, dude. That was a go fuck yourself.
Well, yeah, but you don't have to be offended by it. You don't have to be offended by it.
If I'm on the ice, I get offended by that rather quickly. And the only difference between me and Rielly is I would have dropped my gloves and I would have dummied Greig. That's what should have happened.
That's right. That's what you do in there. But Rielly knows he can't do much.
No, well, you got to do stuff.
Rielly,
you still got to drop the gloves, right? Like I said that Saturday night. So Rielly
wouldn't even do that if that's the case. There's nobody on that ice that would have did it but Rielly. This is the reason why I said that Rielly was just fed up the fact that there's nobody there to take care of that team. Not a single person will take care of that team. And he got fed up and he showed it on the ice that night because he knows he's going to get something for that. He knows it. He knows it. There's nobody on that team that's going to actually push back. Not Bertuzzi.
I disagree. Nobody. I disagree. They all have pride. But this is the other thing, Pearlo. You keep forgetting one thing: Matthews, Marner, Nylander, Tavares. They don't fight. That's not what they do. So you can't ask them. You can't ask. Well, Rielly's a different. I've seen Rielly fight. He's not very good at it, but he does fight. Right. So you can't ask. You can't ask a goal scorer to go out and get in a fight. That's not the way it works anymore. Gone are those days.
Right.
So
okay, let's look at some other teams. If that were to happen, if Calgary would have done that and McDavid would have been on the ice, he would have dropped the stick in the gloves and he would have took them.
What? McDavid wouldn't have done that. He never would have fired the puck that way. B, he wouldn't get into a fight, Pearlo.
I'm not. Yes, he would. In that situation, he would have, because you know as well as I do what Greig did was. Yeah, he would have.
I just have a question. What if the next time Ottawa beats Toronto, because it'll be the next time they play? If Greig gets the open net, but he taps it in like real gentle, like would it cause problems? I was just curious.
That would be beautiful if he did that.
Actually, here's what's going to happen. Next game, next season, the very first game they play, Toronto's going to come out and make a statement. They're going to kick the shit out of them on the scoreboard. They're going to get an empty net, and they're going to do the exact same thing, and it'll start a line brawl. That's what's going to happen.
I don't
You take that to the bank. That's exactly what's going to happen.
I am so rooting for that to happen.
Ryan Reese is going to have his knees taped up as they're popping over the kneecaps right now.
No, you watch next game next year, the very first game that Toronto and Ottawa play in the regular season. They're going to come out. Toronto will come out and run them through the ground, and they'll do the exact same thing. But that'll start a line brawl, and Toronto will get the shit kicking. That's what's going to happen.
No,
right? But I still say I stand by it. I played the game for long enough. I've coached it. I've refereed it. You do that shit in a game, you better get your head up. Greig didn't have his head up. Actually, he did. He could see him coming at the last second.
Hey, Tim, I have a question for you then.
Ask away.
I'm so glad to know you're a former official or that you still do officiate or what have you. Because I used to go to this shit in the whole sports bar to watch football. We had this guy, Justin Patterson, shout out Justin, who reffed football and he knew the rules. And we'd always be like, and he was so good to have. It was like having our own Gene Steratore or whatever. That's for you guys in Canada that don't watch football. It's a former official.
There's another throwback name.
Yeah, he also did basketball too. That's why I always thought
that's a hard one to do.
He did college basketball. Yeah, you have to be in shape. I think that probably helped him. But this is my question for you on the referee thing, Tim. Would you have called them? I mean, they called a major on Rielly and reviewed it. I love that they reviewed it. Because would you have made that call as a ref? Because you, I mean, I was unaware. Like, dude, I've watched hockey like religiously for 30 years.
Yep.
And I've never seen anything like that before. So when at first I was like, oh, fuck, Rielly. The guy's up for like the Lady Bang half of his damn career. You know, the guy doesn't take penalties. He's a smart hockey player. He's a really good. I have a lot of respect for him. I mean, I know Leaf fans love him, and he seems like a class act of a guy. I mean, like I said, I saw him when I was in Toronto with his family. Just seemed like a really class guy. I thought it was really out of character from him. I was like, once I heard all the people like you guys, all you guys that played at high levels and officiated and coached and whatever, were like, oh no, that's Bush League bullshit. I was like, oh, okay, like fuck, all right, good on Rielly for doing what he did.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, they get a game, and then the only reason now I think he'll get 5 is because they announced he's got an in-person hearing. Yeah, and that means no less than 5 usually.
Yeah,
and 5 is the one that they can't appeal.
No, that's good. So if they give them under 5, they can't appeal it. Anything over 5, they can appeal. But what happens is that Bettman sits on his hands until the 5 or the 6 or whatever, how many games are gone, and then the most they get back is cash. Right? That's the way. And that's why that system's fucked up.
I mean, honestly, like
that's fucked up.
That would be great. That would be great if they were like, oh, okay, like 6 games, but O'Reilly appeals it, and then they're like, they wait for him to be out for 6 games or 5, and they say, we reduce it to 1 game.
Here's your money.
Money back. Yeah, which I think would be cool. That's the right thing. Because that's also the league coming out and saying, hey, listen, we don't want you guys to hit each other in the head. But this wasn't, when you guys play that like tough hockey, it actually benefits the game. We've spent this happened what? Did this happen Sunday? Or this happened Saturday night?
Yep.
Fuck the Super. We haven't even talked about the Super Bowl, by the way, boys, because this was more exciting to me. And I was befuddled by it. Like at first I was like, man, that was a dumb shit. And I even told my Hot Take Hockey, I was like texting back and forth with him. I was like, that was a dumb fuck move by your boy. Because he loves Rielly. Yeah, I was like, especially to the face. And you could tell me that, he goes after the shoulder. He is going to hit him in the face. That's where he was going. You cannot convince me otherwise. And in fact, I think he connects with the stick in the face. Anyway, I love it. And for us content creating people, and just like,
it's perfect. I love it. Right? So in answer to your question, so I'll give you the short answer is I would have had no choice under the Hockey Canada rule book.
Okay.
So the
you would have gave him a major, though. You would have given him a major. I would have thought double minor, like double minor.
Under the hockey,
5 seconds left in the game.
Under Hockey Canada rule book, I have no choice but to give him a major. So the Hockey Canada rule book states.
Why, if you didn't deem it a major penalty, though?
So under Hockey Canada rules, the rule for a head check is incidental contact to the head is
head check. Okay.
Right? Is a 2. Any direct contact to the head with the intent to injure, which I think that's what he was going for, is a 5.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
That's good, though. See, I appreciate you clarifying. That makes total sense. And I'm going to guess that the NHL ref, and they did it fucking pristine, by the way. I thought those guys were on it, and I don't like comment, saying good things about the officiating, but those guys were on it. They were like, we're up for review. It's a 5-minute major, because they even gave Rielly the benefit of the doubt. He's not that type of player. They reviewed it, then they're like, oh, no, we've confirmed. I also think they should give the refs the power to end the fucking game at that point. 5 seconds left. We're just going to run the clock off. You guys go to your locker rooms. Like, Depending,
it's happened. I can think of 3 instances where a NHL game has been ended with time on the clock due to stupidity on the ice. We'll call it that way.
I've seen it before. That's why I thought. I was like, why don't they just end the game?
So if what should have happened? Rielly should have thrown his gloves down. It should have been a fight. Should have been a line brawl. That's what should have happened. Right? Chances are they would have called the game. 5 seconds left. Everybody just go home. Like, we've had enough of this.
That's what's going to happen. Yeah.
And then if you notice when they dropped the puck next, both linesmen were right in behind the wingers. Like, they were right there, and that's normal. Right, you get taught that very, very quickly in junior hockey. Right, if there's going to be shit, be right behind the guys. That way you can grab them, separate them nice and quick. So you know what I mean. And like I said to the boys Saturday night, I said it's 5. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, that's a 5. The only reason he hit the shoulder pad was because Greig got the arm up. That's the only reason. Other than that, he would have clocked him right square across the face. No problem.
I think he was going for his head the entire time. Otherwise.
He was coming on upward, so he was aiming for the head. He really was. So, and in that aspect, you're going to get what you deserve. Dumb fuck, you just screwed us for 5 games. Now, having said that, they could win 4 of the next 5. Okay, fantastic. Not a big deal.
Last year they were without Rielly, and like they played the best hockey they played all year.
Yeah, right? they played almost 700 hockey when he was gone for, I think it was 13, 14, 15 games, right? So, which
I was also like, is that an indictment on him a little bit? But dude, he was so good in the playoffs last year.
Yeah, he was.
I just can't say anything bad about that guy. Plus, I think Kate Hockey'd stop being friends with me if I ever criticize Rielly.
So that's the long and the short from Hockey Canada. Of course, Hockey Canada rule book governs minor up to major junior hockey. So the severity of the calls is different from NHL, right? So that's the thing. If you read the NHL rule book, there's quite a lot of difference now. There never used to be. It was actually quite close. And then over the years, right, they brought in new rules for minor hockey. But the NHL hasn't either adopted them for a season or 2 and then dropped them, right? Or they just went, no, those are too stringent for what we do. So, but
I'm getting a soundboard now, guys, because of this rant from Pearlo tonight. And every time he calls the Leafs a bunch of pussies, I'm pushing that button where the guy from 40, you pussy ass bitch. Pussy ass bitch. Anytime Pearlo just starts calling the Leafs a bunch of pussies or anybody, I don't disagree. They just don't like. It feels like they want to score points, but really don't want to play 2-way hockey. And finally, Keefe is at his end. He's starting to call, but I think it's been bad from him from the start. He should have held all those guys accountable in the first thing. And this is why I wanted to ask you guys this, because we got Rico. I feel like that's not a healthy locker room, because like Bertuzzi was awesome last year with Boston, and I've heard nothing but good things about their locker room. You can say what you want to about their players on the ice, but they're a pretty tight-knit crew. I just get the feeling that Leafs locker room is very divided. Like there's like a group of guys that hang out, and then there's the rest of the team. And I just wonder, like,
no, there is a divide. There is a divide. I've got a couple buddies in Toronto who know some people, and it's very much there's Group A and there's Group B.
You can't win a championship with that. I'm sorry.
You can't. No.
Like the Caps, still super tight team. Fuck, there's only like 3 guys left from that Cup team now. But you know what I'm saying? Like they hang out together. They do things together as a team. You know, like everybody. And I just wonder, man. Like, why aren't you getting that? And I really do think that starts with the captain too. Like you put an end to that bullshit. No, fuck. You don't like each other. We're going to learn to like each other. We're going to hang out together. You know, we're going to go out to the clubs or party, or if, you know, because Toronto is what it is. Hey, we're going to do a house party at somebody's house every month. Different one, you know, boom, boom, boom. You know,
the moment you drew a line and said, you're more important than the rest of us, that's when the issue started. Right. There are still groups in every locker room. I don't care what team you're with. Toronto definitely has us and them kind of feel. Right. And I said that even before, you know, like I say, my one buddy, he used to work at City TV, and he knew more than a few people on the beat. And like, yeah, you walk in that locker room and there's one side and there's the other side. So, but that's going to happen in any room, but at some point you still have to be a team, and they don't play as a team anymore. Like they just don't. Right. That's rather obvious. So,
is that on the coach and the captain, or is it like, what do you guys think?
It's on everybody. It really is. It's on everybody. You can start with the captain. Like it's Tavares's job. Part of his job as a captain is to make sure that room is a communicating room. That's what it's not communicating. Like that's rather obvious, I think. So it's on him. It's on the coach to a point, but he can only do so much, right? Like it's the players' room. So the players have to be able to take care of themselves. And I don't think they do that. Right. You know what I mean? I hear really good things about Calgary's room now that a couple guys, Zadorov and me and Pearlo, have had this conversation a couple times. Right. Zadorov's a decent player up and down. They called him the Russian roller coaster in Calgary because his play was just all over the place.
He was in Chicago and Colorado. I remember when Colorado gave up on him and everybody was like, whoa. Yeah. So it was like,
apparently he's not a good teammate. Right. So take that for what it's worth. But
he did kind of throw he threw
everybody
under the bus this year. I think that's kind of documented. So
So you know what I mean? You're never gonna have 28 good or 23, 24, whatever it is, guys that all get along. You're just not. But you still have to behave like pros, professionals. You're getting paid, you're on a team. Your overall drive should be to win a championship every year. That's what you should be doing. So at some point, you have to let your ego kind of take a back seat and be a teammate. I've had lots of teammates where I fucking hated them. Just hated them. But for 2 hours a night, you're my teammate. I'm going to go out and I'm going to fight for you. You're going to fight for me. And simple. Right? So...
Hey, I had a lot of teammates in the military I fucking just hated too.
Right? But, right? You know,
I'm not afraid to tell them now that I'm retired, but I fucking hate their face and get the fuck away from me. But I like that analogy though. But yeah, man, I worked as hard for any of them as I could, whether I liked them or not. Because
whether it's the military and you're out in the field, whether it's hockey, football, basketball, it doesn't matter where you are. When you have to rely on that person, if that person, you can't go into a room and go, you're a fucking asshole. I don't like you and I'm not going to deal with you. So then when you get out on the ice, he's the one feeding you the suicide pass between your legs or whatever, right? You can't have that. So you have to be, at some point, you have to put those feelings aside. You don't got to go hang out with the guy. You don't got to go drink beers with him. I played hockey with a guy in, where the fuck was I? Gravenhurst.
I had to drink to be around most of the people I worked with.
Yeah, but this guy was such a bad teammate that he was sleeping with all the other guys' girlfriends. And his excuse was, well, they were sleeping with me. It's not my fault. He didn't last on the team more than 10 games, right? Because the guys made sure he was gone. Like, they made sure they got him gone. I
don't want to name NHL names, but I've heard some stories.
There's a couple. But that's a rather extreme example,
Patrick
right?
Sharp.
Like, what the hell was his
Patrick
name?
Sharp.
Yeah.
Have you heard those rumors?
Yeah, a couple of them, right? He's again, there's another guy, really good hockey player, not said to be a good teammate. So
Evan Bouchard?
No. Patrick Sharp.
Who?
Jared Bukal asked a question for me. He says, quick question, do I follow the WHL and who pick in the win the Central Division in the
23 Medicine Red Deer Medicine? I have no idea. I don't follow enough of the WHL to know.
Well, I think he was asking me.
Yeah.
I will tell you, Jared, I ride with the Spokane Chiefs, man. Spokane Chiefs are my team. So when they're good, I follow a little bit more. But no, I used to go to Spokane all the time as a kid growing up in Montana, and we would go to events that were hosted at the Spokane Coliseum, which is where the Spokane Chiefs used to play. So when that movie Youngblood came out, I was real interested. And it's just hard, man, to watch WHL games and NHL games, and I'm trying to watch college hockey a bit now too. So it's just because a lot of elite NHL prospects are playing the college game.
No.
So I really don't get time for the WHL. But we try to have a person on from time to. We had Mr. Ryan Tubrick, who works for I can't remember the website now, but anyway, he does scouting and he's in college there and he lives in Edmonton, Pearlo's hometown, and he's a big Oilers fan. We'll have to reach out to him again and see if he's tracking a different top 10. I'm real interested in this Ivan Demidov guy in Russia. I think some of these Russian players are going to turn into some filthy dudes. And I know Mishkov's been tearing it up a little bit.
I was just thinking.
Yeah.
I know. There's another kid coming up. There's like 4 or 5 teams have been scouting him. Don't even ask me his name.
Gavin McKenna. Are you talking about Gavin McKenna?
No, there's a kid coming out of Russia. I read a report last week. The Leafs, the Red Wings. Was that the same one?
He must not be a draft eligible guy if they're scout I
don't think he is yet. So that would make him 16, 15, whatever. Like, and again, once you're in Russia, the drafting rules are different, right? So I'm not sure, but anyway, but you're starting to see more and more of these Russian players coming over, and they play nasty hockey.
Yeah,
like they're starting to play.
Voronkov for the Blue Jackets played on one of the hardest teams, Akbar's, over in the K.
Yeah,
and if you watch any of those games over there, it's crease work, it's corner work. This is and Voronkov fit right in. I believe Marchenko played on SKA St. Petersburg. It's these guys are good, and there's a lot of talent out there, and it's bigger ice, so you kind of got you. I think the herd gets thinned a little bit out there because you got to be able to skate. You got to be able to skate with everything else.
Ryan Whitney says all the time he couldn't survive. He would have stayed in the KHL longer, but he couldn't skate enough.
Couldn't skate with them, yeah.
I would have capped in the KHL longer if they didn't take it off the sports books. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that's bullshit, man. Like the hockey community is suffering so much from this fucking war, man, and it sucks. And it's not fair to the fucking hockey players, man. Like I'm getting sick of hearing fucking the Ovechkin slander. Oh, empty goal merchant. Well, he passed a guy that led the NHL in goals, so who was he gonna pass?
Yeah.
It took him fucking 18 years to pass him. Also, by the way, this record would have been fucking long gone if he didn't miss his rookie year due to complete lockout from the owners, and then some more labor shortage and fucking a pandemic. He'd easily have 75 more goals. He had 51 his rookie year. This guy never complains. He does charity work in the DC community with developmentally disabled kids. Like they do dogs for vets. Like Ovechkin's out there. I think we lost. It just blows me away. No, something. I don't know.
No, everybody's good.
Gretzky's
okay. You're good.
Gretzky's rooting for Ovechkin. He wants Ovechkin to win.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Gretzky has always said rules were meant to be broken. His can be broken. He'll be happy if somebody breaks them. He doesn't care, right? Like he understands that that's the progression of the sport, right? He broke Gordie Howe's records. Somebody's going to beat his eventually. Wow, not the assists and the total points will never get broken. Plain and simple. Those records will stand.
No, yeah, but also Gretzky scored 92 when goalies didn't play butterfly. There was no
exactly right. You know what I mean?
And Gretzky's also one of the classiest guys out there, and he's saying, "I want you're going to be there for the guys." Because remember, he said, "I feel bad for Gordie," blah blah blah, and he's like, "No, you should feel good," and this, that, and the other. His dad, he took a lot of cues from his dad, who was a smart man. And,
Walter was a fantastic gentleman. I had the honor of meeting him a couple times.
That's awesome.
Very nice man. Very humble. Right, to have a kid, because I met him when
he's the greatest hockey player in the world.
Yeah, I met Walter at a hockey tournament when I was refereeing, and we talked hockey for about an hour. He actually knew my old man. He knew of my old man because he recognized the name and he named a couple of the teams he played on. I'm like, yeah, that's Dad. He's like, yeah, no. He says, do you know Ted Brady? I'm like, Ted Brady lives down the street from me. His mom still lives in the same house. Oh yeah, I've known the Bradys for years. I'm like, holy shit. Okay, small world, but again, my hometown's like 12,000 people. So Dad played hockey with all the same guys growing up, right? It was always the same guys on every team, kind of deal. So you get to know everybody, but it was interesting to have Walter start naming off names of guys that played with my dad that I knew, because I would hung around with Dad when he played old timers hockey. So he'd name guys off and be like, yeah, he's still around. Yeah, he's still good. He's still good. Right. You know what I mean? So it was really fun. And then just to talk to him, you wouldn't think his son held 56 records. Like you just wouldn't think it, because he was very nice, very, 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 very easy to talk to. So
let me ask, was Wayne the fastest skater by far during those games as well? No.
He's just the best.
Wayne wasn't a good skater.
So he didn't beat him with speed.
No, he beat them with his head. He beat them with his mind.
Nobody has a better hockey mind than him, I don't think.
Yeah, no. So Wayne, I had a coach growing up who told me, "Don't go where the puck is. Go where the puck's going to be."
Yeah, that was Gretzky, isn't that?
And that was Gretzky, right? That was always Gretzky. You'd never see him going to where you wouldn't see him fighting for a puck amongst three guys. He'd be 5 feet down the boards or whatever, right? He knew the avenues where that puck was going to go, and he would pick the best one, and then he was always in a good position. Now, you want to get into a foot race with him? No, he wasn't a fast skater.
So let me ask, in the next generation, if there is someone to challenge the records, and let's say Ovi does or doesn't, do we think that speed now, because I think the game is changing. I think, yes, when you got to be where the puck is and you got to have the hockey IQ, absolutely. But I think what's going to happen is there's going to be these kids who come in and they're doing speed skating around the whole team, and no one's gonna be able to. Connor Bedard.
You already have it with McDavid.
That's what I'm saying. And I'm saying with some of those players, they could change the game.
Well, it will change the game, occupancy. But the thing is, it's not going to be one or two that excel, right? So let's look at it this way. Right now, McDavid and Bedard are kind of standouts in the league for the way they skate and the way they play the game.
Right.
As you start to get see the next 10 years, we'll look at the next 10 years. The crop of kids, the next 10 years coming into the league are all going to be good skaters. They're all going to be fast skaters. So unless you have somebody of an extremely immense talent, and even then, I just don't see it, because when Gretzky played in the 80s, it was a different game. they employed him like he played power play, he played regular, he played shorthanded.
Yeah,
and it was a different game back then. So
they weren't as deep.
Let me rephrase.
Okay.
Let me ask it a different way.
Okay.
And I don't want to knock this guy because I don't really know too much about him. But Monahan, when he came in, they called him when you're on the power play and you're kind of just passing back and forth. What do you? There's
The bumper.
The bumper. Okay, so the bumper. So do you think that type of position and some of these guys who aren't the best skaters, but they got good IQ, I mean, do you think they're just going to fade out of the game eventually?
I think of O'Reilly and Mark Stone.
Sure.
They're not great skaters, but they're so good defensively. It's because they know how to read the play and they just play defensively so well that I think there'll always be a place for players that maybe aren't the greatest skaters, but have high hockey minds or a good defensive or are gritty or like pains in the ass.
So you're
not going to have 9 Olympic skaters on each fucking hockey team.
Well, you just might, right? You just might these days.
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah. So in answer to your question, I'll look at it this way. There's always going to be room for somebody with a really good hockey mind that can't skate as well. So, because a good hockey mind can survive, right?
Right.
Actually, the answer to your question is it's actually multi-layered, because you're like, so if we look at today, like O'Reilly.
Let's use my team as an example. Like
okay.
The fourth line of the Islanders: Clutterbuck, Martin, Cizikas. Okay, Cizikas is a great skater. But when Cal, and I mean Cal was an okay skater, but Martin, even Anders Lee, the captain. I mean, like, these guys aren't. They're not fast. And
Clutterbuck's been in the league like 18 fucking years, bro.
I'm just saying, like, these are the guys who like O'Reilly, the Stone. It's like, are they just, is that position? Are we going to see less and less of those types of guys moving forward?
No, because those guys, you also have to look at it in the terms of the years that they have in the league, right? When they first came into the league, their lack of skating skill didn't stand out as much because the skating skill wasn't as high.
Yeah.
Right. And the longer you're in the league, if you're a smart player, you can survive. Right. It's the dumb players that won't last more than 10 years. Right. But if you've got a good hockey IQ and you understand the game and you understand the nuances of, I might not be the fastest, but if I can get one step ahead of you and get to where the puck's going to come to, then I'm further ahead than you are. It doesn't matter how fast you are. I'm going to have a second to react, right? So that's kind of, and I realize that might sound like a little bit of a cop-out answer. You'll always have room for grinders, older players who understand the game.
I mean, I hope so, because I like that aspect of the game.
Yeah, I do. I honestly believe that.
And I hope they do. I just, some of these results, I see in mid-season form. It's like. You take a team like even like Philly and Arizona. I mean, okay, let's say like Kraus and like a couple of these other guys like on Arizona. I feel like they're all better skaters than that position would have been 10 years ago, is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, that's definitely true.
Yeah, and it's a lot of coaching. I mean, right? I mean, we saw, we know Tortorella keeps his guys in shape. This is conditioning. It's a lot of things. But
by the way, I just want to comment on that real quick on Twitter. From missing curfew, Shane O'Brien was talking about their pre-workout thing for Tampa Bay when he was there, and I was like, "He made you run a mile?" I was like, "You guys are wuss bags." I was running 25 miles a week in the Army. Come on. Like, get the fuck out of here with that. Oh, you had to run a mile? Oh, my God, you poor fucking bastard. Just skate fucking forever. Better be able to run a fucking mile.
Well, compared to a team coached by, like, Gerard Gallant or something, who, made him run once
yeah,
a
month.
No,
running doesn't translate well to hockey players, Beard. It just doesn't. Like, I consider myself... Oh yeah, like I know more than a few hockey players that have taken up swimming to try and increase their mobility, their stamina. like myself, I'm a decent skater, but I got better as I got older. I learned how to play position as opposed to fighting all the time. That's how an older player will survive in the league. At some point, though, you're seeing it now. You don't see, well, Ovechkin. Okay, so Ovechkin's what, 39, 38?
38,
those are going to be the exceptions to the rules. I think
he's still not a bad skater.
No. But what I'm getting at is you're not going to see as many older players probably in the next 5 years.
Oh yeah, I think I agree with you. I think 35 and
you're
unless you're just an elite like a Marchand or like he keeps himself in such good shape.
Stamkos,
right.
Lead skaters. They really aren't big, heavy guys. Like Ovechkin's was when he came in the league, the size of Lawrence Taylor. Fuck, he's probably the size of a defensive lineman now.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably, I'm sure he loses weight as the season goes, but he is a monstrous man. And like, I don't know how he doesn't lose his fucking thing. Well, we need to preview these games, guys. So let's get into tomorrow's 11 games.
I was just gonna say,
runner up.
Preview the games or what?
Runner up, and I got the boss coming at me.
Are you out of here, Tim?
No, not yet, but I'm close. So let's go.
Okay. Here we go, guys. I'm going to pop them up on the screen. We'll just go right down the list. I'm not going to make any of the picks. My main man, Rico, we got the Bruins and at home to the Lightning. Lightning are plus 140. Who do you like? I'll get you the over under.
Probably a 6.
We
all going to do. I would think 6? I think it would be a 6.
Oh, you're talking about the over-under, Tim. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, my bad.
The over-under is 6.5. The over-under is 6.5.
Okay. All right.
This is the DraftKings. You might get different lines in Canada that way, all that other stuff.
That's fine. Whatever. It's half a goal here and there, whatever. You learn to live with it.
Let's just go down the list here. So we'll go Rico, Pearlo, occupancy, and Tim. You can give your pick. I'm not going to pick. So Rico, go ahead. Lightning, Bruins.
This is a Boston spot after that 3-0 loss, and this is the last game on the road for Tampa too. So they're just getting ready to go home. I know they're welcoming the Avalanche Thursday night too. So they got some teams to play ahead of that. Panthers at home right after the Avalanche too. So I think Boston comes out with a little more effort here. I'm not going against the Bruins.
Okay, Rico's got the Bruins. How about you, Pearlo?
Tampa, Boston. Yeah, Boston. Yeah, I just think Tampa's kind of gave up the ghost here now after that Sergachev stuff. So I think Boston for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Occupancy. Go ahead, occupancy.
Yeah, I mean, the last matchup, Boston routed these guys 7-3. Boston's pissed. If you watch a game, I'm sure you watch a game, Beard, on Saturday.
Yeah, the Caps kicked their ass. It was awesome.
They played great. They hunkered down on defense. Lindgren looked good. The penalty kill was great. So, I mean, was Boston, what were they doing Friday night? That's another question.
It looked like it.
And do they bring it to the table tomorrow? I don't know. But I'm not going to lay minus 160 for them with that number. So on the money line, it's Tampa or a pass. Do I trust Tampa? I mean, Vasilevsky looked really good Saturday night. I was on the total in that game, and I was just watching it, and Columbus could have easily had 3-4 goals in that game. Let's just say that. And hey, it's Columbus, but they were rested coming out the break. And if it's Vasilevsky in net versus an Ullmark, I might be tempted with the under 6.5. But other than that, that's all I'm looking at in this one.
Okay, Tim, go ahead.
For every other reason the guys gave, Bruins at home, Lightning on the road, last game on the road for the Lightning. I got to go Bruins just because of all those factors. If I was going to look at anything, I wouldn't touch the money line, and with occupancy on that one, I'd look at the under 6.5 because I'd be looking at 4-1 game somewhere in that area, and I'm definitely looking Bruins. Right, it's Bruins. I just have to figure out how I get there.
I just put it in. I took Bruins money line and Bruins in regulation.
Andrew likes Tampa over 6. Okay. Kings at Sabres. Go ahead, Rico.
Jesus.
Oh, God.
You don't have to pick either. We have 11 games. So.
No, I mean, the Kings, this is their first game on the road after beating the Oilers 4-0. So if there's a get it going game if there's a get it going game for LA to start out this road trip and take care of Buffalo here, because then you got the Devils, the Bruins, and then the Penguins on this road trip. So they better take care of Buffalo here and worry about the rest. But I think the Kings probably show up in this game. They'll beat Buffalo in some facet. I'll probably take some sort of Kings bet on this game, but there's no way they go into Buffalo and lose that first game of their road trip at Buffalo.
Go ahead, Pearlo.
I agree. I take Kings in money line, in regulation, and puck line. I take all 3. Yeah, I'll take
That's how Pearlo affords that piano, man. That's how Pearlo affords a piano.
Occupancy, go ahead.
Yep, this is I have no reasoning or arguments for Buffalo here. You could have the new coach angle if you want to keep on LA until they lose. That's a fair angle. You could get 4 or 5 wins with LA there. Buffalo coming out of the break scored 1 goal in each game. You had Dallas, and then the whole world was taking Buffalo on that Saturday game, and they only had 1 against was that Hofer too? I think that was a Hofer game. So
I mean, the Blues are playing good hockey now.
Blues are playing good, but listen,
Buffalo's trying to win. You're right.
Granato's on the hot seat. He's been on the hot seat, and I don't know if his team's going to be able to step up here. So,
and the middle stat rumors. Tim, who do you like here, Kings or Sabres?
I would be looking Kings team total over 3.5, and that would be it.
Okay, yeah, and the over-under in that game is 6 per DraftKings. Again, I know every book is different, so
I would take. I would lean towards the over as well, but I'd definitely be looking at the Kings team total.
Okay, let's go back to Ducks at Canadians. Habs are one of 3 teams that don't have a shutout this year. Yeah. Go ahead and I don't want to. I'm good, man. I'm sorry, I was reading the message. Ducks at Canadians. I like the Ducks at plus 130 here. If that's real quick. Rico, who do you like?
Yeah, I mean, Montreal's going to bring an effort there at home too. But the Ducks, that's another first game on a road trip for Anaheim as well too at Montreal. Then you go.
I loved Anaheim's game against the Edmonton the other night too. They played a good game. They lost 4-3, but.
Montreal's lineup is so thin right now too, and I mean they're coming off 2 losses as well and getting blown out by the Blues, so you think they're going to come out with a better effort, almost like maybe like a draw type thing in that game. Probably not going to see a whole lot from each side, maybe a bit more Montreal effort. So I think it's small play on Montreal or maybe the draw. But the
over-under is 6.5 here is what I'm getting. So imagine it's close for you guys. Ducks over 7 for Andrew. Go ahead, Pearlo.
I take the over on this game, 6 at minus 125. I got a 6. I don't know what everybody else has, but I think Montreal's kind of give up the ghost a little bit. It'd be tough. Kind of put a little bit on the draw, and I put a little bit on Anaheim. Montreal's just too beat up, and I don't know. I can't trust Anaheim either. So I'll just take the over 6.
Yeah, I'm getting 6.5. Just again,
I got that on. I got.
You have over 6.
Yeah, I got over 6. You can find 6s out there. If it's 6.5, I probably just fade the game.
Go ahead, occupancy.
Yes, series history here. Been high scoring 7, 5, 7, 9, and 6. Personally, I don't like anything in this one. I can't read it. I can't read this one. It's an interesting matchup. Battle of the bottom feeders, but it's a pass for me here.
Okay, go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, I like the over, and I do like the Ducks in this spot.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, I do. I like that plus money. They've been playing some.
I just like it first game. I like it first game on the road, right? Montreal hasn't been playing the greatest hockey, even though it is Montembeault and net. I still like the Ducks and I like the over for sure.
Okay. Rico, we got Blue Jackets at Senators.
I like Ottawa there. They're putting a little streak together, so they're probably feeling good after beating the Leafs. So
7-2-1 in their last 10 or something. Ottawa.
Yeah, I know. I think they've won about 3 in a row, but I like Ottawa in that game. There's probably reasons for it, but I don't want to go into
Sens
them.
are on a 3-game win streak.
That team right now. Yeah, probably be Merzlikins against Korpisalo, but Fantilli's out, Chinnikov is out, so a little bit more scoring on the Ottawa side. I think they'll probably be able to get a couple more of them.
I heard they got Forsberg back too, Ottawa.
Well, yeah, they'll probably have to move somebody out because Forsberg's coming in, but I know back in December, Columbus beat Ottawa 4-2 as well, so a little bit of a redemption knowing these guys beat us last time. So.
Or a reason to take Columbus on plus money because they're getting decent money there anyway.
I'm just going with outright winner. I'll look at the game closer to game time, but I'm just thinking Ottawa wins that game.
Doug says, he said, Doug, I'm sorry. He had Ducks over 6. TT, the over. Pearlo, go ahead if you want to do anything. Blue Jacket Senators here.
Ottawa destroys this game. I think Ottawa just ruins Columbus. -1.5. I would even go plus 125. I don't think they give any mercy to Columbus, and Columbus they have no cohesion, no nothing. There's nothing. So I think Ottawa beats the crap out of them. First period puck line, -1.5 in regulation, team total over, all of it. I think Ottawa goes crazy there.
Okay. Occupancy.
Yeah, this is going to be how to back Ottawa here. I like a Columbus game just as much as the next guy. You know, they're an interesting team. They got some characters. If anyone's looking for fun Instagram and Twitter accounts to follow, check out some of the Blue Jackets players and follows. They're kind of funny. But in terms of winning this hockey game, I think Ottawa's going to build.
Oh, down in the bottom there.
I think Ottawa's going to build on a big character win over the weekend. But it's just how do you get involved with a -200? So that's going to be tomorrow's puzzle. Goose, go ahead.
I'm looking Senators, same as you guys all the way. I like the puck line and the full game, plus or -1.5. I think that's probably where I'd go. I don't mind the first period look, like Pearlo said, but I do like the full game -1.5. I think that's probably that's the easiest bet to make. And then, like you say, look a little bit more at a few more of them, but that's my start.
So next one, I think Beard said that for a second. We got Blues Leafs. Rico, what do you think?
Holy shit balls!
Come on, Rico, do it, buddy.
I'm not betting against Toronto, but I know Pearlo likes that plus 175. I think the Blues are getting.
Yep.
But Jay Rosehill even commented on your post there too, eh, Pearlo? I saw that.
Yeah, Jay and I talk a lot. Actually, he's a good hockey guy. I love talking to Jay. Yeah.
Allman coming.
But I got to go downstairs and let somebody in. So I'm gonna. Well, you already know. I can't go against the Blues.
Say hi.
But I wish,
say hi to the boys.
I wish.
Say hi to the boys. Say hi to the boys.
Can you guys hear me all right?
Yeah, we can hear you, Pearlo. Hey, Tim, mute yourself real quick, man. Just mute yourself while Pearlo's giving his pick. And then
that's okay. I just didn't know if I hadn't muted myself. I get it. Like, maybe Toronto has balls tomorrow, but I'm not betting on that. taking plus
I
175.
like the Blues huge. Plus, did Rico pick this?
I'm doing that all day.
Yeah, no, I'm not betting against Toronto. I'm not betting against the Leafs. He'll probably go over the number, I would think. I don't know. But
yeah, I definitely would take the over. It might even be the better bet. But
occupancy, go ahead. Go.
I got to go.
Sorry, Pearlo.
Yeah, this series history, you can't even look at an under. 11, 9, 9, 11, and 7 in the last 5 games between these two teams. So when it comes to the total, I may look for a live over if we can get a 5.5 after a slow first few minutes, just because it's probably going to be a very juiced 6.5 to start. And there's that. With respect to the side, the Blues let me down when it counts, and I know they're playing well. Character wins to start their, the break. In Buffalo at brunch, that's a tough one, and then in Montreal. But I don't trust this team, to be honest. I don't, and I think the Leafs have that type of talent where at any given moment they can turn on the burners and they're a top 5 offense in the league. So I'm not going to have a unit against them, kind of like what's been said. So it has to be a pass for me on the side, and then looking for a 5.5 over live.
Okay. Tim, go ahead and give your pick and move on to the next game.
All right. Well, unlike my man Rico, I will bet against the Buds. I'm taking St. Louis.
Yeah, plus 164 is nice money. Just taking the money line and the Blues, Tim?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's go to the next game. Avalanche versus Capitals. I'm all over my Caps. They've played an incredible last 2 games. They should have beat. The effort was there on a back-to-back against the Canucks. I love the game. They should have won it. They actually had a lot of scoring chances, and people are shitting on them right now. But I think they know that this is the last this group is going to be together for a while. I think they're going to do something. So I definitely take the Caps here. Rico, what do you got?
Since we're in movie references, I feel like the guy from Mr. Deeds is like representing the Washington Capitals. You underestimated my sneakiness. Like this Washington team is very, very sneaky right now. But Colorado has lost a few in a row as well too. So I know Washington doesn't want to go into a tailspin, losing 6 in a row again. So they're going to play this game tough. Big money if you want to lay Colorado here. But I mean, Washington at home. I think Ovechkin's putting the puck in the back of the net again. The boys are getting back together and training, So I'm not laying the money on Colorado, but I'll probably take a closer look at this game, maybe some props or something. But yeah, aside here, I mean, it's Washington or nothing. I mean, Colorado's going to Tampa, I think, after this. And
it's going to be lingering in net for the Caps.
Yeah.
Because Kemper played the last game. So
I mean, the money's on Colorado here, but I mean,
that's why I like the Caps. That's why I like the Caps in this, because they've been playing some real good hockey and everybody's sleeping on them. They shut out the Bruins in Boston, and then on a back-to-back, they play the best team in the West, the Vancouver Canucks, and they should have won. They lost in overtime with 5 seconds left to go because Connor McMichael decided to get a little fancy. But it was a really great game, and they had a lot more scoring chances than Vancouver did.
And you just got to match up against Colorado. You just got to take away their weapons, and being at home, Washington could probably match up against them. So don't sleep on Washington in this game. Don't underestimate their sneakiness, Mr. Deeds.
Let's fucking go. Pearlo, let's go. What you got, buddy?
I've taken way too long to admit that Carberry is an amazing coach here.
You've said it from the get, Pearlo. You've said it from the get.
But I haven't put my money on it, and I'm putting my money on it here.
Which is his true love.
He is a great coach. I'm really impressed with what he's doing. Yeah. And when you hear Kipper and Bourne talk about Ovi's not moving, Ovi sits in one spot, that has not been the case. And by the way, Ovi didn't even get a shift in overtime because of how fast it is now in OT. He can't be out there unless they have an ozone face-off. and they didn't have that.
Yeah.
So he didn't play overtime at all. Yeah. And Carberry is putting his team in the best chance to win. They're not doing anything for Ovechkin to get the goal record. He's not just standing there like a fucking statue, Justin Bourne. He's actually fucking playing the game of hockey. He moved his feet. The reason he got that empty net goal is he's coming out of the penalty box and he fucking skated his ass off and beat a fucking guy half his fucking age up the ice and scored. He didn't do a clap bomb though. That's so no bad thing here. So Paul, you're on the Caps on this?
We all know you have a life-size poster of Ovechkin somewhere in your house there somewhere.
I used to have an Ovechkin fat head. I used to have an Ovechkin fat head.
I'm sure you do.
But, let's leave that there.
I'm pissed at myself that I didn't bet on Carberry earlier. This guy is an amazing coach. This Capitals team should not be doing this good, but they are doing this good. And I think they're going to come out here, and I'll take a draw and the dog here. I'll take the Capitals in the draw.
Occupancy, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, to what Beard has been saying about kind of the, what people are saying about Ovi and the team. And, look, they had 33 shots on Sunday, and they played great, Saturday. I'm actually a big Lindgren guy. And, can you say he's back after beating a hungover Boston team? I'm not sure. But we've seen him, and he can be good. I think that he can be, a 2 goals against kind of guy in the long run. So I like Lindgren. And listen, I think Colorado's in a rut. I mean, look at what they've done out of the break.
Yeah.
And are we going to point fingers and say it's mismanagement? And who's making the decisions to keep Georgiev playing 60 games this year and letting the Prosvetov guy go?
No Nichushkin, no Landeskog. No, they've been without Manson and Gerard for stretches too. Like, they've been banged up as any team, but you're right. They're frauds right now, guys. I think. Go ahead, Occupancy. I'll let you finish.
No. I mean, no, you're, and look, I mean, we want to compare it to Carolina. I mean, you had shaky tenders in Carolina, but at least Rod's trying to build a 3 or 3-man, 4-man rotation even to get some kind of people in there. We got Bednar just running Georgiev into the ground. It's like, come on, man. These are games where you're gonna have to trust your team and give either Eustace or some other guy a start. So I don't know who the third string is, but either way, I just think Colorado's poorly managing their squad right now, and Washington is playing some decent hockey. So let's go dog here. Let's take the Washington Capitals tomorrow.
All right, we got a lot of people. Go ahead, Tim.
Well, I'm going to make it a clean sweep because I agree with everything that's been said. Avalanche are not playing good hockey right now. They're down to a one-line squad essentially. Where Washington is playing better hockey, they're getting some guys back. They're starting to show some life. So I definitely like Washington on the money line, and I would even probably like the over in the first period, but not both teams to score.
All right, let's go to the Kraken visiting the Island. It's a back-to-back for Seattle. They were in New Jersey at the Rock tonight, so it's not like a real road trip. What do you think, Rico?
The Kraken are playing themselves right out of a playoff spot on this road trip right now, man. They're having a real hard time, and then they got injuries on the back end right now. I know Justin Schultz, personal issue. I mean, Dumoulin's out. Like, these guys are just having a real hard time. Patrick Waugh's team, they got a winning record. The playoffs are in front of them. They're just trying to make a push with the coach. So, I mean, it all points to the Islanders to win this game tomorrow night, or the Kraken to try to come out of it. But, man, maybe a small play on the draw, but I could see a 3-2 game, 4-2 game either way. Last time these teams played, I think they combined for 7 or 8 goals, I think. So you might see some goals both ways, especially with the lack of D on the Kraken right now, and the Islanders trying to push. So might be a first period over game, maybe a full game over, maybe the Islanders. But yeah, and my first look at this, like, the Kraken are desperate, and if they don't get a win in Long Island tomorrow, I mean, they might not get one on this road trip.
Yeah, I think that's a good assessment, man. Pearlo, go ahead.
I think this will be a low-scoring game. I don't think the Islanders are going to come out and crush them. The Kraken are having a really difficult time scoring right now. That's basically been their problem. And we
over under is 5.5. It's the lowest.
The season's, yeah, it's 5.5. That sucks. But we
it's the
talked
lowest
about
on the
before
day.
Before the season started, we talked about how they had a high shooting percentage and all of that, and I wasn't sure if they were going to make the playoffs. I'll take something kind of cool here. I'll take the Kraken to not score in the first period. I don't know what the number is on that, but I'll take the Kraken to not score in the first period. That's what I'll take. That's probably about plus 250 or something like that. No goals for the Kraken first period. I don't think that I think the Islanders are going to come out hard. They need every win. And the Kraken just don't have any legs right now. It doesn't look like they have it to me. Waz had some time to work on the defense for the Islanders, and I just don't see anybody scoring for the Kraken right now. So that's what I would think.
Go ahead, Occupancy.
So there's a couple themes going on with this game. First off, I want to point out to Waz's second win versus the Leafs. If Rielly puts his shoulder into Pierre Engvall, that game goes to overtime, and the Islanders may not get 2 points in that one. So they barely got that win because Rielly was playing soft. Okay, and then they crushed Tampa, but that's been their only decisive win under Waz's tenure. Okay, and
they're just getting healthy too, though. Pellick and Pulock back.
Pellick and Pulock are back. A great addition. You know, this matchup. I'm not backing the Islanders here. I'll just tell you that. I think
you like the Kraken.
You know, I don't know, because if it's Grubauer, who was maybe going to get this, he hasn't played in a while, so I'm not sure. You know, and Sorokin will be getting the start, which obviously I do like, but
he's not been as good this year as he was last, but.
No, but he is the number one, and if you are gonna back the Islanders, I would do it with him. But unfortunately, I can't say for sure on a side right now.
Yeah, we can move. It's fine, man. That's okay. You don't have to comment on everyone. Let's get Tim, because I want to get rolling. We've been going for an hour and 40.
Yeah.
So, and I know Tim, you don't have to stay on either, but I want to give everybody a chance. Tim, do you want to bet this game or? Oh, you're muted, Tim. You got to unmute yourself.
Sorry about that. The only thing I have going on here is I would consider the Islanders team total over 2.5, depending on the number. Other than that, I'm not touching the game because I don't feel good until I know who the goaltenders are. That would definitely factor into my decision. So for now, for me, it's a pass.
I like the caution. Okay.
By the way, Kraken to not score in the first period is plus 115.
Yeah, that's nice.
Thank you, Pearlo.
That's nice.
It's a Pearlo pick for the day. I'll write those down. Kraken and not score in the first.
Yeah,
that'll be one of our special.
Yeah.
And that's plus 115, and I'll tweet that out.
Plus 115.
I'll try to have 2 or 3 from this show. If you guys put a special prop that you're thinking, a goal scoring prop or whatever. Hurricanes at Stars. I like Hurricanes as a road dog, actually. Rico, who you got?
I like Carolina too. Dallas off a road trip. Carolina wins that game. I looked at it a little bit before the screen popped up there, so I like Carolina in that spot.
Okay, Pearlo.
The Hurricanes have been my kryptonite this year, so it's pretty tough. I like both teams to score first period. That's about all I got there.
Okay. Occupancy, go ahead.
Do you know if this is a 6 or a 6.5 for the total on this
one? This is a 6.5.
So I would pass on the side, and I would look under. I think we saw Carolina play that 1-0 game over the weekend, and these goalies, we know what they can do, and I think there's going to be a defensive effort. So I like under 6.5.
Okay, thanks. Tim, go ahead.
I like the over 1.5 in the first period. I like both teams to score in the first period, and I like the draw.
Okay, draw season. Hashtag draw season. Let's go to the Devils Preds before Rico goes. Doug he likes the Predators. I'm on TT over 3.
Preds team total over 3.
Okay. Rico, who do you like here?
I like Nashville. Very, very good spot for Nashville too. New Jersey, 3 game in 4 nights. I think the Preds.
Yeah, back to back, and they were at home tonight, were they not?
Yeah,
so,
I mean, and who's in net for New Jersey in that game?
Probably
it's going to be.
They called up Schmid. They called up Schmid.
No, I think it's going to be Vladislav Schmid. Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Akira Schmid.
Akira Schmid, sorry. Akira Schmid.
Who's had a 3.85 goals against in the AHL. He hasn't really been lighting it up either there. So.
Oh, sorry. You want to come up? Sorry, we're dealing with a little dog situation. Okay, Pearlo, go ahead.
Easy one for me. Predators, puck line, first period. Devils coming, they're tired. They're terrible at home in first periods. And the Predators need to get off at a good start here. So, yeah, I'll take Predators, puck line, first period. And maybe over first period or whatever, and I'll think about it more tomorrow. But my immediate response is Predators, puck line, first period. That's got to be like plus 135 or 140 or something like that.
Okay, you guys don't have to wait for me to cue. Just go to the next person.
All right.
Come on.
Pass.
I like I like the Preds team total over 3.5. I like Ryan O'Reilly to get a goal, and anything else I'll have to decide on tomorrow.
What's the prop? What's the percentage on O'Reilly to get a goal?
O'Reilly should be about plus 185. I like him.
Yeah, give me that prop before you go. I'm gonna put it out as one of our specials, Tim. So
okay. I'll have to.
Right now, Pearlo's cracking not to score in the first at plus 115, and then whatever. I'm just gonna tweet it out there, and somebody's gonna hit one of these parlays one day and fucking thank us.
Are you going to throw it out as a parlay?
No, but I would put it into a parlay because you get so much higher percentages. But anyway, you don't have to put as much money. You can bet $1. It could just be for fun.
What I'm saying is throw it out as a parlay. Throw it out there as a parlay. That'd be fun.
Okay, so
cool.
Since Tim is gone, I'm gonna just go. Let's go to the next game. Oh well, we got Tim back. Okay. Oh, we lost Tim. Oh, Tim will come back. Okay. If he had to go, he had to go. Canucks at Blackhawks. I mean, Rico, what do you got here?
Canucks are going home after this. I can't see them going balls out in this game. It might be a bit of an under like Chicago's been playing. So if it's a 6.5, I'll probably take the under. Can't see them going back and forth here.
I'm seeing a 5.5.
You're getting 5.5 on that?
Yeah. With the number one scoring team.
6. I'm getting 6. I'm getting 6 as the over-under for DraftKings. Again, different for everybody. And Andrew says pass. Rico, were you done?
Yeah, if I catch a 6.5, I'll take the under, or probably take something a little more in game. But I mean, I
think the Hawks are having tough time scoring, Rico, and that's probably why. And Vancouver only had 3 in overtime against the Caps yesterday or Sunday. So,
But that much of a heavy favorite, like who's going to take Vancouver? Because this could be one of those stupid games where the Hawks win 2-1. But they got to bank those points in Chicago, so they'll be. I mean, it's Vancouver puck line regulation, or just take props, take player props. Yeah.
Right. Anyway, if I look weird, there's shit going on. There's shit going on at the house here. And when I mean shit, I literally mean shit. Okay. Perlo, go ahead. Go. Do you like anything in this Blackhawks Canucks? Already spent too much on this game.
Although I lost my shit on the last one, but I've been looking at
No pun intended.
I'm taking Chicago team total under 2.5 and Chicago team total under 1.5 for varying amounts. I just can't believe I'm going to keep on betting this team can't score until the day that Bedard comes back. So I'm doing that. That's what I'm doing. And the New York Rangers screwed me again last time. I've made lots of money, but the Rangers will always screw me every single time.
Okay, what does the Rangers have to do with the Canucks and Blackhawks, my man?
Blackhawks played Rangers
because
last game.
The Blackhawks played the Rangers last game, and they let a goal in with a couple minutes to screw me on that freaking bet. Same bet I'm doing on the Canucks, but I'm going back to it. Blackhawks team total under at -160, team total under 1.5 at +180. That's what I'm doing.
Okay. Occupancy.
Yeah. Chicago has covered the +1.5 in 3 of their last 4. And Vancouver, in their wins, have not covered the puck line in their last 3 wins. They beat Columbus by 1, Carolina by 1, and then Washington just by 1. So Vancouver's not really covering the -1.5 here. Vancouver's been on the road for a long time as well. If I like a spot in this one, it'd be Chicago +1.5. You can get that around -100, -105. Depending on your book, I'd be liking the Chicago handicap.
All right, cool. Love it. Tim?
Definitely Blackhawks team total under 2.5 and a TJ Miller to score a goal.
Okay.
I think I got that. I'm looking at 3 different screens here. So TJ, whatever TJ's last name is. JT. There we go. I knew there was one wrong there.
I got you. I think I knew what you meant there. Okay.
I'm glad you did.
This is a good one, huh? This is a sneaky good late game here. Red Wings at Oilers. What do you like there, Rico?
Love the Wings here, man. This is a bad spot for the Oilers, eh? They've been on the road the last 3 nights. They went to Vegas, Anaheim, LA. Now they're home against Detroit. Then they go over to St. Louis, Dallas, at Phoenix. Like, this is a weird flight back home for the Oilers. Basically, to play Detroit on their first game of the road trip out west. And you'll probably see some scoring here, but if my first look, I think Detroit's just going to kind of probably beat the Oilers. I'm going with the Wings.
+180 is a nice number.
Yeah, bad spot for the Oilers. Fly back home for 1 game.
Is that it?
Yeah, Red Wings all day.
Perlo. I love it, Rico.
Yeah, I agree. It's a really bad spot for the Oilers. They're flying right now, but I mean, I think they could just kind of sell this one. If I'm going to bet this game, I'm going to go the Red Wings, and I would go Red Wings first period money line. I like Red Wings first period money line here. I think they're going to be ready for this game, and the Oilers are going to be like, "Duh." So whatever. I'll put a little bit on both. Red Wings full game, Red Wings first period money line.
Go ahead, occupancy.
I'm going to be on Detroit here. This is a bad spot for Edmonton, as been stated. And, Edmonton, I think, took a big character blow when they did not beat Vegas. They looked disheveled. They looked pissed. They were kind of shaky with Anaheim. They did get the job done there, but then getting shut out by LA. I think they wanted that record, and I think this travel spot is really going to hurt them. This line's going to move. This is not going to be a plus 180 or a plus 170 tomorrow. Money will come in on Detroit. This will be around a plus 160.
Oh yeah,
or
you
plus
need to lock this in now.
Yeah, so this is one that will move. So I like Detroit to win outright.
All right, Tim.
I'm with the boys on everything that's been mentioned, the travel, the spot. None of it's any good. I'm going to go a step further, though. I'm going to go draw, dog, Red Wings money line.
Okay. All right. Okay, that's excellent. I like to hear all the storied gamblers. Was that the last one? Oh, no, we have one more, right? Hold on. Oh, my bad. Here, I'm going to I'll turn the screen off because that's the... All right.
No, that's it. That's it for the card.
Okay, so I want to revisit the Nashville game. I want to slightly change what I will take Ryan O'Reilly for an anytime goal, but I'm also going to take him to score the first goal at plus 1,400.
Oh, okay. O'Reilly, anytime goal, and then first goal.
Yeah.
At plus 1,400. All right, I love it. Okay. What do they call him? The Factor? Ryan O'Reilly, and he's been factored in a lot of bets lately too.
Yeah, and if you go back and look through like their last 15 games, he's usually the first or the second goal scorer in the majority of those games. He is the driving force on that line right now. So I like him as an anytime goal scorer. Like I say, it's plus 185 was what I saw, but the plus 1,400 for the first goal scorer in the game, I like that one too. I think that's a really good bet.
All right. Well, hey Tim, thanks for jumping on with us tonight, man. We really appreciate it. Always.
Thanks for having me, guys.
You gave us so much insight. Yeah, I mean, I just want to thank you again for the refereeing stuff. You knowing the Canadian Hockey Association rules like right off the top of your head. That's super helpful, man. I so appreciate it. You're always welcome to come on the show. And of course, you guys are all the gambling aficionados, so I love hearing all the fun stuff. Before you hang up, you gave us the plus 40. You gave us the Rielly. Never mind, you're good.
Yep.
You can go if you have to. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me on. It's always good to get together with some guys and talk shop.
Yeah, hockey is fun, man. And
we'll hook up tomorrow night, and I can yell and scream at the Leafs.
Yeah, okay. No worries, Tim. I do hope for chaos' sake the Blues.
Yeah, right. Chaos is way more fun. Cheers, everybody. I'm out.
Yeah, see you, Tim. Thanks again. Okay, that was so awesome for him to jump on there. He didn't disconnect himself, but I'll drop him off there. What are your final thoughts, Rico, before we go?
My final thoughts are just to see how the Leafs come out tomorrow, how they set their defensive pairings. I know I'm close to home here. So
Rielly's going to be playing, right? They won't have ruled in time, or is his in-person
hearing tomorrow? I don't think he's going to be playing, will he?
I mean, it's New York. He could make it for the game, I'm sure. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. What I'm looking forward to tomorrow is listening to Toronto sports radio and just see what the reactions are with what Rielly gets. And I'm gonna be tuned into the Fan 590 like I usually am. So I'm just gonna listen to the boys at 4:00 Eastern time and
me too.
See what they have to say, and keep an eye on hockey Twitter because it's been a fun place lately. But one thing I also noticed tonight too is that Super Bowl game was the highest telecast game ever live, right? And
I didn't see
highest tuned in Super Bowl game ever, but yeah, it was the highest telecast game at 123, I think, point something million. It said earlier, so that was the most viewed telecast ever on stream. So it broke Super Bowl records. I mean, just seeing everything going on with the Super Bowl and now the Leafs because it's a little closer to home. So it's a fun couple days in early February to visit social media and see everybody's comments and stuff. So
we didn't even talk about the game that's going on right now. Minnesota and the Golden Knights are
we didn't get a chance to, man. We had so much. The Rielly stuff was going on.
Or Jack Hughes' goal off
that
the
was
golden
a nice
helmet.
shot. That was a beautiful shot.
Dude, they got to keep winning too, man. They're a team that's been let down by goaltending. I lost the game like 6 times, and then I was dealing with something else. So, go ahead, Pearlo. Give us your final thoughts. 123.4 million viewers, by the way, according to the Wall Street Journal, watched the Super Bowl.
I'll just go back to what my original thought was before we got started. The Toronto Maple Leafs are a bunch of pussies, and that was a terrible move. And I think that they're going to miss the playoffs. That's my final thoughts.
Go ahead, occupancy.
My final thoughts are it's so tough to string wins together in this league. And winning, losing is just the theme for a lot of these teams. And to actually go on runs, I think is just so tough. But I've been really surprised by, tonight, Philadelphia here. They kept getting beat down and somehow come away with 2 points. And, maybe this break was perfect timing for them. They're in 5th right now in the East. So that's just an interesting team. Like, despite the issues going on and maybe they do have what it takes, but all in all, it's just great to be here. Beard, Rico, Pearlo, Goose. It's just awesome to talk hockey with everyone, and ultimately, my final thoughts are just happy to be here. Appreciate you guys, and yeah.
Well, we don't call it an occupancy Monday for nothing. We love having you on. I love your different insights, and you always bring real shit to your thoughts on your gambling and then the game itself. I enjoyed it. This was a fun one, man. I'm gonna get a soundboard and we'll get that pussy ass
Leafs are pussy. The Leafs are pussy.
Dude, I love it because Pearlo's never afraid, man. He's gonna say what he wants to say. It's good. And I can't disagree with him, man, because Toronto can't get out of the first round. So
nobody wants to say it, but everybody knows it. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Anyway, I appreciate everybody that came out. Peace. We're out.